All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our second in our spring What's Up Wednesday series. Tonight, we've got Perry Martin, who's the director of the Digerati Living Learning Community, which is not just restricted to engineering students. And he's going to talk about the program. University's been closed for the past 2 days. We got a lot of snow, a lot of ice. My internet's been out all day. I'm working off my hotspot right now. Hopefully nothing will happen, but Perry's going to lead it. So in case anything happens with my internet, I just want to let everybody know that next week is the freshman engineering computer requirements. That is a big important topic. It's a big purchase. And they do actually have some specific things that you need in a laptop. I know their recommendation always is don't buy anything until you know what those recommendations are, but we're going to have Jeff Phillips in our IT department come and talk about those computer requirements. So hope to see lots of you there. As always, we'll record it. I know that as seniors in high schools, you're busy even on the weekends or even on weeknights. And so we make sure that we send out the link and have this available to everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Perry.
Well, good evening, everyone. As Dr. Lester mentioned, our last couple of days have been unusual days for us in that tech has been closed. The scene that you see, which is a stock picture of Virginia Tech, is actually a fairly true picture of what tech looks like right now. So bear with us if we see any kind of internet buffering or anything. We are dealing with freezing rain where I'm at right now. So unpredictable sometimes whether that takes out our internet, but so far so good. I have some prepared slides, but I also find it easier sometimes just to give you a little bit of background about what is Digerati and who I am, and then certainly, as I hope you understand, you can always ask questions at any point if you want to raise a hand or something. You're more than welcome to. The reason we talk about our living learning communities at this juncture is we are getting ready for offers to be sent out. And once you pay your fees and sign on that you're accepting the offer to tech, should you be getting one, you will see a contract generated towards housing at Virginia Tech. Um, Housing has a lot of options. One of the options that you will see emphasized from Housing at Virginia Tech is to join a living learning community. Within our office, we have three different living learning communities. That is the Hypatia Living Learning Community, which is an engineering learning community for female students. We have the Galileo community for male students in engineering. And then we have a fairly new community called Digerati, which is a community that is located in our engineering building, if you will, Pritchard Hall, our engineering residential hall space. But it is a community that is focused on students who are interested in IT, whether or not they're in engineering. So we do see students from a variety of majors join us. So what I'll take you through tonight is kind of an overview of what Digerati is specifically, how this may be useful to you. And again, as we wrap up the presentation tonight, if you have questions, I'll certainly be glad to let you know. Let's see. Kim, I'm going to share a screen here in a second. Give me 1 second to pull that up. Okay. So you should be seeing a presentation screen on Digerati here. Just to give you a little overview, again, if you're new to Our What's Up Wednesdays, you're seeing a little bit about what is the seed office. We were founded in 1992 as part of the College of Engineering. Our interest is in providing encouragement and support to engineering students across the board, but we definitely focus on students that are traditionally underrepresented in engineering. We do operate with a significant amount of grant funding that provides a variety of programs. If you're part of some of our pre-college programs, and assuming you have, you certainly have seen how our programming works for pre-college populations. As mentioned, we've operated the Galileo Patient Living Learning Community, and then our newest living learning community is Digerati, which is now in its second year. We have a couple of Digerati students joining us tonight, so you'll see some faces and names there that, while I know you're getting to know everyone here, there's a couple of people that are with our community currently and can talk a little bit about the experience being in the dorm, specifically in the Digerati community. Um, as I mentioned, the premise behind living learning communities is that you can find a community of like-minded individuals. And so our communities all have themes at Tech.
वाह!
Some are arts,
వందే
well-being,
అటెండ్ ಮಾಡುವ.
uh, and some are going to be focused on more academic sides, which is engineering in the case of uh, our communities, and then more specifically with Digerati, a focus on information technology. The Living Learning Communities have a program director. I serve as program director for Digerati. If you have been familiar or part of our Pathways for Future Engineers program, you may have known me through that program. The other part of my job is the information technology community at Tech. And so again, I'll take you through what to expect there. So as mentioned, Digerati is an interdisciplinary living learning community. We're located in Pritchard Hall, which is one of the larger residence halls on the Tech campus. If you have, if you're somebody that gets on the internet to try to see what are people saying about Pritchard, historically Pritchard, up until a year ago, has been a general assignment building, which meant that with a general assignment, you get students with varying degrees of focus. And that's probably a polite way of saying not everyone is going to be the most focused on academics. Not everyone is going to be the best behaved. And so if you see some comments on Pritchard Hall from the previous years, you have to take that with a grain of salt. Pritchard Hall, as of this year, changed to be a predominant engineering community. And so, as you will find out from our conversations, if you're in the engineering program at Tech, you have very little time to get into things that you shouldn't be into. You have plenty of work to keep you busy. And what Digerati and our other living learning communities do is put you with students who are in a similar academic circumstance. And so if you're trying to find people to study with, if you're trying to find people who are dealing with some of the same classes, same stress factors, same academic and professional interest, then these communities provide that for you. Um, and so, in our case with Digerati, we encompass computer engineering, business information, cybersecurity, among others. We are located in Pritchard Hall, and Digerati has a common wing. So a section of the fourth floor is entirely, well, for the most part, Digerati. And we also have a lounge exclusive for our own use, which our students have been heavily involved in designing and decorating. It is a hangout spot for our students to do work together, to do video games together. And I think one of the unique things about Digerati is our students have probably better than other communities taken ownership of that lounge. And I've certainly given our students the green light to decorate as they see fit and to do whatever they wanted to within reason with the lounge. So, what's required if you sign on to Digerati? We do a course in the fall and spring of your first year, and this is a 1 credit course that meets on Friday mornings. And the course, and I'll get into that here in just a second, but in general, the course is designed to um, look at the life of someone in the profession, information technology field from a broad perspective. So guest speakers in the course may come from everywhere from computer science, computer engineering, BIT. We may have CEOs of a company. We may have employees of Google or Microsoft that join us and talk about their careers and what they do. So when I say course, your major really gets into the content of coding, of cybersecurity, of those topics. What I do with our Digerati course is look at it from two things. How do you have a good academic foundation within information technology? And then secondly, how do you begin a good professional foundation? And so we'll go through things like creating a resume. We'll go through things where you have to do presentations as though you were presenting a product or perhaps a mock interview. Those are things that we'll do in the course. Um, and so, the intent of the course is to be less like a traditional class and more like a gathering of our community, something where we have common discussion, common shared experiences, but again, not something that competes with your existing classes, duplicates your existing classes. And certainly, I'm very strongly opinionated that we don't add extra burden or weight to your academic schedule. You have plenty of classes to focus on. Other Digerati course, my intent with the Digerati course is it makes it easier for you to navigate your time at Tech. So again, regular engagement with IT faculty, mixers with company representatives. We will do this semester, we're offering opportunities to get Microsoft certifications through the course. These offer tests that are paid for. We will do collaborations with IT student organizations, so you routinely see me encourage you to get connected on campus. We do common study groups within the community. And so if you're focused on particular courses in computer science or in calculus, you'll see us really work to facilitate study groups where it's needed. One of the benefits of the living learning community, if you come across an academic challenge, you literally can go to, if not a roommate, someone across the hall, someone right next door to you that's in the same class. And so as opposed to feeling like you're on an island trying to navigate these classes, you're part of a group of individuals that are all capable of helping you in the courses that you're in. We do something called away from keyboard events. And so with away from keyboard, I like to encourage our students to get outside of the rigors of the academic and res life world and get into activities beyond the campus, particularly activities that perhaps you haven't had experience with. Last year, Abdullah, who's on the call tonight, and I think maybe a couple of the others, he got the experience of running a backhoe. Okay, so we respect that IT computer science students, you may not get that opportunity, but it can be a bucket list opportunity to say, hey, I've done this. And it's something that lets you see something through a different lens or an experience unlike what you would see in class. We've done things like visits to pumpkin farms. We've done things like horseback riding. We have done ice skating, things like that that are partially about encouraging good mental health habits, but also letting you see things through different perspectives. As I mentioned, we will help with everything from development of resume, online professional profile, and then pointers on preparing for interviews and opportunities, both at Tech and beyond, where you would have to present on your interests or abilities. Our values certainly are student success focus. Um, I will say that one of the things I think is valuable in our community, which has currently around 55 members, is that we're small enough to keep an eye on how everyone is doing. And so if someone is having a challenge in a class or classes, myself, others in the community, others in Seed, are going to be setting boards and people available to give advice, people available to help navigate and solve problems. Routinely, I will have my students meet one on one with me or others in the seat office to say, hey, how can we help? And it's helpful because as you go into college, you're not going to know all the answers. Not every grade is going to be the ideal grade. We can help with that. Beyond that, if you're finding that you're doing great in classes and you want to do more, and you're looking for an opportunity with, let's say the FBI or CIA or a cybersecurity firm, we're going to have some of those ideas for connections for you. And so today, for example, I sent out a variety of opportunities for undergrad research that are available to our students. And routinely, we see students that will take part in these opportunities. The development of community of peers that we do can be everything from, again, people in the same major, people who like the same video game. And so on our group me channel, you may see somebody send an invitation out to say, hey, we're getting ready to play a video game in the lounge, who wants to join? That's part of a community of peers. It's good to find people that have similar interests, and that can be a part of addressing the rigors of college. Interdisciplinary perspectives is important. Um, in Digerati, you'll find some students that are not in an IT focused major. They may have interest in IT, but more than that, they have academic interest that, sorry, excuse me. In addition to the ice in Blacksburg right now, everyone, and I do mean everyone, has some form of a cold right now, myself included. So forgive me if I have a couple sneezing attacks here. I just got back from the pharmacy because my daughter has a sinus infection. So we are certainly a campus that's dealing with a lot right now. But going back into the interdisciplinary perspectives, last semester, or excuse me, last year, one of our students was actually interested in beekeeping. And um, you know, we embrace that. You can have interest in IT, but also have other interests as hobbies. Within Digerati, you'll find students have interest in sewing, in music, in different martial arts. So those things are part of what we do in the community. I certainly encourage a balance in student life. I think one of the things that I've heard from students is they appreciate that Digerati is not hammering, if you will, computer science or coding and duplicating what students already get. It's important in our view that, again, as Away from Keyboard suggests, is that you lead a balanced life. And so if you have skills in IT, but also interest in other areas, we encourage that. We have students that are in Digerati that are part of dance teams here at Tech, and that can be a great part of your life in college. And then finally, I want to, say that a general theme for me is understanding the role of IT in society. This semester, as part of our Digerati course, our students are working with community clients where we are working as though we were a firm. And so in some cases, we're designing websites. In some cases, we're working with a company that does drone shows. So if you're familiar with these kind of a new trend of drone shows that are put in the sky, we're working with that company to plan, with a company to plan a drone show. We're also working on planning a podcast. So these are intersections where the technology, if you will, intersects with the experience of people outside of computer science disciplines. So if you want to go see a drone show in the sky and see a an interesting display, how do we recognize the impact of these drone shows for a community? If we do a podcast on engineering. How do we recognize how a podcast can be influential to people interested in engineering? And certainly for a small nonprofit, what is the importance of a website to build an identity or brand? So we try to get beyond the numbers, if you will, and the coding, if you will, and look at the impact of our work on society. And so that's part of the values of Digerati. I've put on here a QR code, and this takes you to the Digerati page on our website. Um, you can certainly follow up with me as far as how to find this, but basically, in the Star Res system for housing, is how you would apply to um, Digerati. One of the things we do as a practice in the seed office, if you were part of a seed pre-college program, if you write that on your application, you are automatically offered admission into Digerati. So let me go back and repeat that. We can look at essay questions and think, oh, I've got to think this through. And true, I enjoy reading a good essay, but part of why we have these living learning communities is to be an extension of the pre-college experience. As we've gotten to know you, we want to continue to get to know you. We want to continue to support you. And so anywhere in your essay, if you put that you were part of a seed pre-college program, you will automatically be offered to the Digerati Living Learning community. So that's one of the things I want to impress upon you, that as you get into this and consider your options, that is one option you have to be in Digerati. Even if you're not going into a computer science or computer engineering field, but you want to be part of the community anyway, you can apply to that. Again, we don't have a requirement that you major in something. Just understand that our programming and our course will be centered around information technology, everything from gaming and cybersecurity to other topics related to the role of information technology in society. You see my name and email there, so if you have further questions, digerati@vt.edu is a good way to reach me. And again, you're welcome to reach out. Um, I do have some individuals who've joined me who are current Digerati students. And so the way I want to handle this is twofold. I would like to invite my Digerati students to talk about their experiences in the community and what they've liked about it and how it's been useful to them. Um, and then beyond that, if you have questions, feel free to raise a hand, and myself or one of our Digerati students will be happy to answer your question, whether it's in the chat or whether it's something you want to verbally ask us. You're more than welcome to do that. So on the call right now from Digerati, I have Abdullah, Isabella, and Anna. Isabella and Anna are both first year students in Digerati, and Abdullah is a second year student in Digerati, which it is important to note you can live in Digerati as long as you want to. And so we certainly encourage you, if this is something you're interested in long term, there's certainly an opportunity there. So uh, Abdullah, Isabel, and Anna, if you're able, I would invite you just to maybe give a couple minute perspective on what your experience has been like in Digerati. And then we can also invite questions as you have them. Um, Whoever wants to start is welcome to do so.
I can go first. My name's
Good.
Abdullah Kargbo, as Perry already mentioned. I'm a sophomore in biomedical engineering, and this is my second year in Digerati. Um, the thing that I really liked about Digerati is I already kind of had a relationship with Perry. Over the summer, I did a program called STEP, which was a 5-week summer transition engineering program that his wife, Christina Martin, led. So just me being able to know that like somebody that I know is leading the community I'm coming into, somebody that I trust is leading the community I'm coming into, just gave me a sense of like safety, and it made me feel like I was like going into something that I would enjoy. And once I did come to Digerati, I obviously did enjoy it. That's why I came back for my second year. My favorite thing was the AFK events because, as he already mentioned, engineering and I mean, all majors in college is really hard. It's very taxing. So just having the opportunity to go somewhere off campus and not do anything that has to deal with differential equations or statics or anything like that is a really nice thing. Because it's always important for you to take break from school to kind of regroup and recuperate. And it also allowed me to make a lot of new friends from Digerati, some of which I knew from STEP, but a lot of them I made when I came here because we went to all the same AFK events together. I remember my favorite one from last year was going to a corn maze. I had never been to one before my whole life and I really enjoyed walking through it. And I mean, we got lost for a long time, but once we did get out, it was fun, and I got a lot closer with all the people that were there. Um, and as a second year, I've had the opportunity to help with planning events for the students and making merch. And it's been a really nice way for me to practice my leadership, to practice working with the community, and I've really enjoyed it so far. Um, so yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can raise your hand or put it in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer.
Okay, thank you, Abdullah. See Anna on next. Anna, welcome to share your experiences.
Hello, are you listening to me?
You're a little soft. Can you boost it a little bit, your volume?
Okay, you listening better now? I'm trying to speak a little bit louder.
Yes, okay.
Hi, I'm Anna. I'm a freshman, and I am a international student. So Perry offered me a place in Gujarati when I was applying, to a place to stay in Virginia Tech, and I said it might be good. I didn't know exactly what it was at the time, but it was like a really good idea that I enjoyed. um, because my adaptation here was really crazy. I was far away from everything. I was not just adapting to college, but I was adapting to a new country. So being part of Gujarati really helped me to create a community that I could rely on when I'm here. So my roommate is from Gujarati too, so we have a lot of common things that we like to do together, play together. We made some movie nights at the launch too that really helped. Thanksgiving break was here and I couldn't go back home, so I just stayed with my mates here. And we watched movies, we cooked together, and Gujarati was a big part of my adoption here. And I feel like if I wasn't in Gujarati, I might have give up. I don't know, but it was a big part of me deciding to stay in Virginia Tech. Also, I am a CMDA major. It's not actually not part of engineering, but it's really related to. And as Perry said early, we received a lot of guests during our classes. It really helped. It helped me to see other interests that I didn't know I had in cybersecurity, for example. I didn't know I had that interest in before the guests we received. So Gujarati has been a big thing for me in the first semester. It has been now, and it probably Harry will help me probably until senior year. Um, so yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free.
Thank you, Anna. Appreciate it. Isabella.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
So I'm Isabella. I'm a first year and I'm currently trying to study computer science. Uh, when I first came to Virginia Tech, I didn't actually know of Digerati. I was offered the opportunity to join my application and I decided to go for it. And it was I can say it very honestly, it was a really good choice. Um, the people that you meet at Digerati, you can make a community with everybody. Even my roommate, she's in Digerati, like Anna, and you really have a chance to connect with people on something different from academics. You can connect through interest and just you really build a bond that, to be honest, I think really does help trying to help the transition from high school into college since it's a new experience for everybody. So everybody having that shared experience really does help you feel more comfortable and probably also like going out of your way to like try new things and meeting new people. It makes it a lot easier. I don't know if Perry mentioned it earlier, but we also have like a community area like in the lounge, and that's another thing that really helps everybody stay connected because apart from academics, we do a lot of stuff in the community like social groups or anything that you have a specific interest in, you can talk about. And it really does help trying to like take your mind off academics as it gets kind of hard, but it's a really good time to get your mind off things. And Digerati also does offer really good opportunities through the classes that we take, the Digerati class. It's a really good opportunity because it really introduces you into stuff you wouldn't know of before if you didn't like go out of your way to look for it. So this past semester, Perry brought in guest speakers for different majors, and it really did help in trying to decide my major and what I wanted to do. And it also, like Anna said, it helped me realize my interest in other things. And yeah, like Digerati does give you a lot of opportunities. Like I think Perry mentioned it earlier about resumes and stuff. Another big thing. You pretty much get help in pretty like anywhere. If you were to ask, there's probably opportunities for you to get help in. So that's why I really like Digerati, and I really do recommend you guys join because it's really good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And again, um, what makes Digerati successful is the people we have. And I will pick on all three of the students that just spoke. But when I review applications, I review everything about the student that applied. And it is not an understatement to say that I handpick students. And so as I looked at the applications for Abdullah and Anna and Isabella, what I saw was not just students who've been successful academically, but I saw students that truly seem to have a passion for others, a passion for being a part of community, a passion for making a difference. And at the end of the day, I think that Digerati is a useful experience for students that are looking for a place where they can feel at home. I'm, a reasonably chill person. The students who are part of Digerati probably get tired of my emails that usually have some reasonable amount of dad jokes or old person humor in them. But I do that in many ways to remind our students to recognize that they are people first, and people need people. They need encouragement. They need a life every now and then. And so I am more than happy to build a community where you can be yourself. And so it's important to me as I read through applications that I'm looking for students who are looking for a place where they feel like they want to be themselves, and they want to appreciate the strong assets of other people within the community. So, um, do we have questions right now? I am more than happy to take questions or clarify anything that you may have about living in the building, about first year in college, about the community itself. Certainly invite those. And again, feel free to put it in the chat or raise a hand if you want.
Answered Zoe Latif's question.
Okay, I may have missed that. Let's see. Where is?
If not, I can handle it.
For some reason that's not showing up.
Oh.
Maybe it was
Oh, I see.
I'm
private.
Zoe's mom. She ran off, but I think she direct messaged you. But you can answer it
Yeah.
for the group. It might be
Oh.
helpful, but she didn't want to monopolize because she's not even admitted to Virginia Tech. So she is a junior in high
Yet.
school. Yet.
Okay,
And so she had
Okay.
a question. Sorry, I know it's awkward because she was here, she left, I'm here, but if you'd like to answer it, publicly you can. I think she just didn't want to monopolize because there are
sure.
students who are admitted.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's really fun. I can answer the question. So a lot of the Black student organizations on campus, including Ujima, they have a lot of events that you can go to even if you are not formally a part of the program itself. I go to a lot of the Ujima events because I have friends that are there, and they're always super fun. I enjoy hanging out with the people over there. We also have the African Student Association that you can join. So even if you're not in the associations or organizations themselves, you're still able to attend the events. And so there's not really much of like a problem if you would like to join Digerati, but you're worried about that. But we do have those organizations if that is what more of you're looking for. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. I'll pass it on. And just for people who weren't sure, Zoe's African American, and she was trying to understand about choosing, again, if she was admitted, between Digerati, which is what she's really interested in, but she was concerned about making those connections. And so that's what the question was about, making those connections with the community that might be focused more on identity.
And I know from my perspective, I see a lot of overlap with those two communities. I work with lots of students who are in Ujima, lots of students who are in Digerati and Galopecia. I know that our separate peer mentoring program, which is coming up at some point, there's actually an overlap. The mentors within peer mentoring are in Ujima, they're in Galopecia. So yeah, I don't think I don't see an isolation or a separate where, ooh, if you're over here, you're over here, and if you're over here, that you're separate. I certainly see and work with lots of students, and we welcome them. And usually I tell students, yeah, do take a look at both of them. What's important is you're safe and comfortable and get your needs met. And so, wherever you identify, please do that. And please know that if, someone chooses to be in Ujima, it's also not like, oh, well, you're in Ujima, forget it. You're not part of SEED anymore. You're always part of SEED. And I work with many, many of those students. And Perry, did you want to answer the Digerati and Honors College question?
Yes. So you don't have to, you can be in Digerati and be in the honors program. The honors program does have its own living learning community located in Hillcrest, I believe. But you can be a part of honors and Digerati. One of the things that I will say too is traditionally our seat office, some students will get scholarships through our office, and we traditionally have had a requirement that you live in our program if you're getting one of our scholarships, be it Galileo, Hypatia, or Digerati. So again, part of I say that as assurance to say those opportunities to be in the honors you have there. If you choose Digerati, you can be in it. If you are required to be in Digerati due to receiving a scholarship or one of the other living learning communities organized by SEED, that should not exclude you, from being a part of that. Do we have other questions?
And I also say, these are real, actual Virginia Tech engineering students. So even if it's not about Digerati or housing or a living learning community, this is your opportunity to just ask them anything about life at Virginia Tech from the student side.
And if I'm not mistaken, I know at least one pathway student. Lucas, your pathways, right? Thumbs up if you are. Is there anyone else who's been part of the Pathways for Future Engineers program on? I'm going off of pure recollection. The reason I say that is we do see a number of our pathway students who are part of Digerati. So if you had connections with pathway students, you may find us to be a good place for you. In addition, one question I haven't heard yet, but you may ask eventually is, if you have a roommate in mind that you want to live with in Digerati, let me know. I'm a big proponent of if you've made a connection with someone through a pre-college program and you want a room together, that is fine. Again, our program does not have a requirement that you have to major in an IT focused program. As Abdullah mentioned, he's biological systems engineering. So while yes, our programmatic work may be focused on IT, I certainly invite you to bring a roommate along with you that you really want to be in the program. We're about building community first and foremost, and roommates are certainly important to that. I'm double checking the chat here to see if there's any questions. Looks like we're good there. I'll give you just another minute to think of any questions you have. I'll hit on just a couple touch things real quick. Um, Pritchard Hall does not have air conditioning. If you're doing your research on this, you may think, oh, I have to have air conditioning. Um, Two responses I have to it. We're on the fourth floor, which typically evens out reasonably well. In talking with the students who live in Pritchard Hall, usually if you have a box fan or two, you will find that you'll generally be comfortable in warmer weather in the building. Um, we can't guarantee everything is always going to be perfect. Even in the buildings that have air conditioning, you'll find sometimes they just won't be exactly the way you want it. But we do find that students are not overly concerned with the lack of air conditioning in the building. The other thing that I'll mention is Pritchard Hall is undergoing renovations. So one side of Digerati has already been renovated with new fixtures and lighting and paint. The other side of Digerati, to my understanding, will be done this coming summer. So one benefit to being in our community is you're seeing rooms that are freshly renovated within our community. I also think that Pritchard Hall is actually a pretty good location for getting to class, but also it's right along Washington Street. So if you're a fan of DoorDash or things like that, it's very easy to get those deliveries where we're at. Um, Moving in is actually easier in Pritchard Hall than many of the other residence halls on the tech campus. So I think we have a very good location, easily within walking distance of the basketball coliseum, the football stadium, and certainly parking there if that's something that interests you. So those are things that might be consideration. We also have a nice recreational exercise area right in front of our building. So if you enjoy working out or basketball, literally you go, 20 steps outside the door of the building and you're right there into multiple courts. And we actually have what I'll call a Ninja Warrior court that's there. So that's something that interests you in that kind of fitness. You'll find it there in our community as well. Our lounge features multiple screens, so if you need extra screen space to do your work, you can. And then the building is big enough to have some quiet space for you to work as well. So, and there's a kitchen area as well right off of our fourth floor. So, if you need that space to prepare food and that's something you're interested in, we chose the fourth floor strategically to be close to the kitchen, to have our own lounge, and also from a temperate standpoint, it's kind of midway in the building, so it generally is pretty good on the heating and air in there. So I'm not seeing any other questions, but I want to give a last call if you have any. Um, at the risk, Abdullah and Isabel and Anna know that my communications with them are a time for me to express my creativity. earlier this week, I chose to write down one of my raps. And yes, I do write raps. And so I wrote that in there. Um, Obviously, Abdullah, Anna, and Isabel are speechless. But sometimes when I write my announcements to students, I write them very creatively and they have words in them. And sometimes they have call outs and shout outs to certain people. Um, so if you enjoy, trying to follow things that are more interesting in writing, I do that. And Abdullah and Anna and Isabella, you have to agree with me that my creative writing is very good. Is that not the case? Can you give me a thumbs up here? See, there you go, Isabella.
Of course. Awesome.
Isabella, you're on my good side again. Anna's way too quiet. You'll be a target. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, no, there you go. But I enjoy getting to know our students, and part of what you hear when you see us have inside jokes or have fun is that I've gotten to know our students. I truly value their experiences. Um, as I read the backgrounds of our students there, I certainly saw a calling to want to encourage our students, whether you're like in Anna's case and you're thousands of miles from home, to do the best we can to be a place of comfort. Um, and then for Isabella and Abdullah, who come to us from other places in Virginia, to likewise be something that's a positive place. And so part of it is not just an education that I can provide on my background, but also learning from our students. And some of that is learning their music. So yes, I've been listening to Kendrick Lamar lately, and I actually like it, but they not like us. All right, I will leave it there. Dr. Lester, if you want to take us out and give a preview of what's upcoming, I will put in a plug. Digerati at vt.edu can reach me. Thank you, Avery. Yes, it was a good pun, wasn't it? You'll fit right in, and Avery, you're accepted already. If you humor me by saying that my jokes are good, I will like you automatically. Um, so Digerati at vt.edu is a good way to reach me. My initials are also an email, pm at vt.edu. Also a good way to reach me if you're, just taking down quick notes. And I'm more than happy to give you advice on everything that you're facing. And then again, importantly, as Dr. Lester will take us out here, this time we have together is a great chance for you to hear very real from the student experience, um, what it's like in college. While we didn't get into the weeds, so to speak, tonight on everything related to college, throughout this series of What's Up Wednesdays, we touch on different topics. But I'll encourage you to say that if you want to reach out aside from these sessions, you're more than welcome to do that. And our students are very accessible. We are very accessible to give you our advice, opinions, and probably most importantly, assurances. A lot of times we find that as you're preparing and looking into college, sometimes it's just good to hear a voice that says it will be all right. And I think with Dr. Lester and myself and the students on this call, we're certainly comfortable telling you it'll be all right. We can work with you to help in any kind of needs you have, and encourage you in any opportunity you're looking for. And that goes for parents as well. My daughter is getting ready to have her learner's permit, and so it's helpful for me to hear that people say it'll be all right. I'm not comfortable with the idea of my daughter being behind the wheel when it's freezing rain. So it's good for all of us to hear that. That is all I have for this evening. Dr. Lester, you want to take us out?
Sure. Just another reminder that our next session is on the engineering computer requirements, and it's still very early. I would highly recommend that you listen to that presentation before you do anything in purchasing something that's that expensive. We've got a lot of other sessions. Again, we're really trying to give you the student perspective. So we will have speakers from Galileo and Hypatia, from our peer mentoring program, talking about housing, dining, just student life, what it's like. We'll round out the spring with a couple of sessions where we're just going to have students from all different majors. We're going to dump you in breakout rooms, or you're going to get to go to a breakout room with that particular major and ask your specific questions about those majors. And I always say, like, try out a major that maybe you haven't even thought about before. Just talk to those students. But I think that's all we have for tonight. As always, I'll send out the recording and links. And Perry, if you send me your slides, I'll add those to the folder as well. But last chance, if there are any further questions, and if not, I'm just going to wish everybody a good night.
Yeah, Abdullah, thanks. Abdullah put in the chat, if you have questions for him, Abdullah certainly is a great resource for you, as is our other students. So thank you all again. Dr. Lester, thank you for hosting these. We were closed today, but Dr. Lester and I were both in the office
In the
today.
office, yeah.
So just know we're going to be watching out for you, even in bad weather and during sinus infections. We'll be there. So, all right. Y'all take care.